That was me, Denali. Charlotte, you're fine. Go lay down. Denali. Go lay down, Denali. Denali, go lay down.
Hello?
I'm coming.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to get my dog situated.
You're fine.
How's it going?
All right. Is everything coming through okay?
Yeah, did you want to show your face or are you okay?
Do you use it? Or what do you...
No, I don't.
Okay, that's...
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I've never done this, so however it's set up is just how it's set up.
okay, awesome. Can you see me?
I can, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm probably going to take myself off then because I feel weird.
Okay.
Is that okay?
No, that's totally fine. Yeah, I've only done Skype and like so far, so they've all been just voice. So I don't know.
Oh,
Might
okay.
be like something I haven't set up on my computer yet or something. I
Yeah,
just got a
that's
new
fine.
iMac, so.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm Sam, so it's nice to meet you, Josh.
Well, it's very nice to meet you too. Does the audio sound okay?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds fine now, but the way that I have it through Google Hangout, I mean, it'll sound okay still. So
Okay.
it sounds good now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we tried Skype, or Skype was the only one that ended up working like really great.
Really? I'll have
Yeah,
to keep that in mind.
yeah, I don't know. It's like but like there was one guy we did a Skype interview with that it was complete garbage, and like I don't know. I don't know if it's different internet connections or what, but
Yeah, and it might be too. So, okay, I'm going to take my face off then.
okay.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I had to get my dog situated.
No, you're completely fine.
And they might like bark a lot randomly. So if they do, we'll just ignore them.
No problem.
Okay. So can you just go ahead and say your first and last name and who you are, and then I'll say hello to you and just kind of go from there?
Yeah, sure. What do you mean by who I am?
Like just say, and it's pronounced Hasty, yeah?
Correct, Josh Hasty.
Yeah, so you'll just be like, Josh Hasty, filmmaker, yada, 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 and that's it. Just something brief.
Okay, cool. Do you want me to do like introduction like for the thing, or how exactly do you want me to say it? Or is it just for you, or?
I mean, you can say like, hey guys, it's Josh Hasty if you want.
Okay, yeah, whatever you want. I just want to make sure I say it the right way.
Okay, you're so professional, man. Okay, well, you're like, obviously. Okay, do you mind going like, hey, Halloween happy people, it's Josh Hasty?
Yeah, no problem. Do you want me to say like anything else, like you're listening to Halloween Happy or your
Oh, that would
website?
be awesome, yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey there, this is Josh Hasty, director of In Hell Everybody Loves Popcorn, the making of Rob Zombies 31, and you are listening to Halloween Happy.
You're awesome,
Something like that.
thanks. Yeah, that's perfect.
No problem.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go, okay?
Cool.
All right. Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. You're like a big guest on my podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm excited as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. Okay, so for those of you guys that are listening, If you do not know who Josh is, which I feel like you should, because I know a lot of you guys who follow me on Instagram follow Josh Hasty. You guys know that there's like a buzz going on about him right now. He actually directed the documentary In Hell, Everybody Loves Popcorn, the making of Rob Zombie's 31. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, so like I said, there's been so much buzz about 31, and I just want to know, how has your life been? Are you busy? Like, what is going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. It's kind of weird because, we shot it in 2015 during March. So like it's like the excitement for me has been going on for a long time, almost two
Sure.
years. But it's great. The documentary came out, obviously put a whole lot into it, and it was a long journey, and it's really great now that it's out there and in people's hands. And I've been getting just, unbelievable feedback. I mean, I never really expected I guess has come, through social media and, to work on something like a Rob Zombie film. Obviously, it
Yeah.
has such a huge built-in audience, but I still just really can't believe the response. It's amazing.
Oh man, that's so exciting. Okay, and so you said that you've worked on it for about 2 years, right?
I mean, we worked on
Or
it for
I
about
guess
a
it'll almost.
yeah. It's coming up on 2 years since we shot it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I finished like my last cuts. I delivered to Lionsgate in October,
Wow.
the middle of October. So it was over a year and a half of working on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So does it feel like that time has gone really fast, or it's been really slow to where now you're finally like, thank goodness everyone knows about it and they can put a face to a name and to a project?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a little bit of both. It definitely went by fast,
Hmm.
but there were times when I thought it was never, ever, ever going to end. Just with the types of things you have to deal with when you're working with a company like Lionsgate. Um, not that they're bad to work with or anything; they were amazing, but there's just so many things you have to do and so many guidelines when they're releasing something like this on such a big scale. It's just like re-edits and changing little tiny things here and there, and it's just always, you'll make one correction and they'll send you back four more, and it's just like just all these little issues that come up or whatever.
Yeah.
So during those times you're like, man, I just want this to be over and for people to be able to see it. But now that it is done and it's out there, I mean, I guess, it went by fast sometimes, slow sometimes, but I'm really glad that it is done. um, I guess it was sort of bittersweet because it was just me and Rob working on it. Like there were no other producers or anything like
Yeah.
that. So it was an amazing experience. I got to get, close to Rob and can now call him a friend and a mentor. And, that was kind of bittersweet closing that chapter of working on a project together and handing it off. But like I said, I couldn't ask for more from, the response of people. It's made everything so worth it.
Oh, I'm sure. Like that's all I see now, especially on Instagram, is just it's about Josh, it's about the documentary, it's about 31. Like it's just so exciting. So I'm glad to hear that you're kind of relieved that now it's the downhill process of everyone just being able to enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then I wanted to ask you, like, how did you come in contact with Rob? How did you get this gig? Can you kind of tell me the process of that and how that happened?
Yeah, for sure. So a few years ago, I guess in 2012, when he was filming Lords of Salem or 11 or whenever it was, I went out to meet him for the first time because I had done a like a little commercial for Sherry Moon Zombie's clothing line,
Okay.
um, just like a fun little thing. She had a clothing line called Total Skull at the time, and so I did that, and then got invited out to set while they were shooting the film because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, I got to see Rob, directing firsthand. And I had always been such a huge fan of his work. And, I didn't go to film school or college or anything like that. So
Oh, wow.
I learned everything that I know about filmmaking literally from like maybe studying like 3 or 4 films that I loved, lots of research on the internet and reading books. And then a big bulk of my education came from literally watching the behind the scenes stuff from his movies. And
Mm-hmm.
I really gravitated toward just him, his style, his approach, and everything that I'd seen. So, I was excited to meet him and all that. But when I got to watch him work, I got to see a side of him that I had never seen. And I thought, as much research as I'd done on him, that I had seen everything. But he was so meticulous and so hands on, and was really just like, levels and levels ahead of the filmmaker that I thought he was,
Wow.
which blew me away because I already respected him so much. So, that really stood out to me. And I guess from that point on, like I really did make it an effort to want to do something like this
Mm-hmm.
with him, um, as a filmmaker and as someone who learned how to make films for types. I felt like that would sort of be a full circle type thing for me. If I could do a documentary on somebody like him, specifically him, that would be great. So I became really good friends with some of the people that work with him, that I met on the set of Lords of Salem. And then when he announced 31, I started putting out the word to some of these people like, hey, I'd really love to do a making of, or something, or work on this, in some way. And and I finally got it to him. I wrote up like a treatment of how I would shoot it, what I wanted to do. And right out of the gates, my whole goal was to make a documentary. I never wanted to make a, bonus feature that just got thrown on the DVD and was,
Sure.
just one of those things that anybody could have just went and shot. I really wanted to showcase what I saw there, um, and also exercise, my passion as a filmmaker. So, I finally got through to him, and he was like, "Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's definitely, get you out here." And so I went out there like 2 weeks later, and he told me, be here in 2 weeks and don't book a flight home because we don't know how long this movie's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally just packed up everything and went out,
Oh my gosh. So when
started
he told
shooting.
you that, were you like, holy crap, like it's
Yeah,
happening?
absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure. Because right at that time that I was reaching out to him, he announced that he was going to crowdfund it. And then I got really excited because I was like, man, he's not going to have any studio, people or any producers or anybody telling him what to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get the completely unfiltered Rob Zombie. And
Wow.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen again.
Mm.
What a unique situation to be in where it's literally just Rob and the fans making a movie. And so, yeah, there was just so much happening at once. I was really excited. But when I went out there, I was technically a part of the 31, crew. I was there to do what they call EPK, which is like just film. And if we use it, we use it. If not, oh, well, at least you can put it on your resume. So I started doing the pre-production stuff, and I just approached it like it was a documentary. In my head, this was going to be, the next making of The Shining, or, Filmmaker's Apocalypse. It
Yeah.
was, I wanted to make something that was educational and beautiful in a film on its own. And so I always had that mindset. And then probably the day before we started actually shooting the movie, Rob pulled me aside and said, hey, I want you to, you know, do this thing. Let's make a documentary, because he had seen some of the footage I had shot. And he just told me, he's like, you totally get it. I see you running around like crazy, and the footage you're getting is great.
Hmm.
So let's do this. And he pulled me off of the 31 staff and hired me directly. So from that point on, it was just me and Rob making a
Wow.
documentary. Um, and then at that point, I was still supposed to just shoot it and then turn it in. but I kept begging him to let me edit it as well,
You
so I
did?
could.
Were you
Yeah.
nervous? Were you just like, Rob, like let me do a little bit so you can see? Like how did you have the confidence and just the how like what made you just keep bugging him?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of things that happened at the beginning of shooting that kind of brought us close together, and I was really comfortable with him, and
Okay.
I think I had proven myself to him. I trusted him very much. He trusted me very much, and I just went to him, and I just every day. The first couple times I was a little nervous because not nervous, that he would, get mad or anything, but just because it's so much bigger than him at that point,
Hmm.
as far as I thought, because normally, everything else is like, the Halloween movies or Devil's Rejects, and somebody comes in and shoots it. They just send somebody from the studio, they hand it in, and they have people who do this. So it's like I'm just some indie filmmaker from Ohio who's done some cool things, but nobody knows who I am. And I'm like, hey, let's totally change the way you've always done this, Rob, and let me handle it all. It's like, I figured I'd get laughed at, but honestly, I was like, who cares? Like, I'm here, I'm in LA, the clock is ticking.
Yes.
He likes what I'm shooting. The worst that's going to happen is he's going to say no, which he did. I just kept asking and asking, and I just kept editing stuff and showing it to him. And finally, one day at lunch, I was like, man, just let me edit it, please. And if
Mhm.
you don't like it, you don't have to pay me or anything. Just burn it. I don't care. But I really want to show you what I can do. And
Yeah.
he liked it, obviously. So
Oh my
it
gosh,
was
that's so exciting. So was
yeah.
this your first documentary that you filmed?
Yeah, this is my first documentary. I guess like I've done a lot of small documentary projects like profile pieces on different
Okay.
artists and entrepreneurs and like these passion type projects. I own a production company that does that. And that's what I was doing full time when
Yeah.
I went out to LA. So
And is that Relevox?
yeah, that's right.
Awesome. Okay, I was going to ask you if you were still doing that. Cool.
I am, yeah. I mean, that was like crazy full time for a long time, but now I've got, because of the documentary and working with
Yeah.
Rob, I started getting all these different types of projects. So Relevox is my baby that's still there, but it
Yep.
went from full time, on the road productions to like, which is cool. I'm now in a position, we were in a position to where when clients would come, we just take all the business because that's how we were paying the bills, and now we
Right.
can be a lot more selective and make that something that we really are building, something that we are proud of and that I'm proud of, and not just taking whatever comes along. So it's been exciting on that side of things as well.
Very cool. Okay, so I have to ask, I have a lot of friends who are into horror. And so I posted a picture not too long ago when I purchased 31. And whenever I talk about it, I get so many different opinions. And not for the fact that you are friends with Rob, but can you tell me like what you thought of it as far as coming from your love of horror?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you asked this. No one asks me this. Everyone's afraid to ask me
Really?
this. Yeah, you're the first person. Um, and I really did love it. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of people rolling their eyes right now, but
I loved it.
it was, here's the thing. I loved it because he did exactly what he wanted to do, and
Mhm.
as a filmmaker, I love that. Um, it wasn't Lords of Salem, it wasn't Halloween, it wasn't Devil's Rejects. It was 31. It was his own film. It was a really nasty, drop you in the middle of hell horror movie that didn't let up till the end, and it didn't end the way you want it to end. It was a perfect grindhouse B horror movie, which
Yeah.
is what Rob grew up on. It's what I grew up on. It's so funny to me when I see people like, hating 31 and Rob Zombie and everything. And then they like, you look at their Instagram page or whatever, they're wearing a Phantasm t-shirt or
Yes.
a
I was
Shining
gonna say
t-shirt.
that. Yep.
And I'm like, you realize that these films were talked about like 31 is being
Just
talked about
yeah.
right now. Like everyone hated this. Like when people love Vincent Price, and I'm like, you realize he's the king of B horror, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not he's not Steve McQueen. You get that, right? Like
Exactly.
it
That's
blows my mind.
that's so funny that you brought that up because the people that I had in mind that didn't really dig it, that's what they love is B horror. And I'm like, hello.
Yeah, and I think the problem is just everybody has number one, the biggest problem is social media.
Hmm.
Everybody thinks that their voice matters. And I know this sounds so politically incorrect, but not everyone's voice matters.
No.
That's, there's a reason you used to have to go to journalism school and get out in the field. And even after getting a degree, you weren't taken seriously until went through some stuff, and like
Right.
had like battle wounds and like you had you earned your voice. And now you just all you have to do is create a password, and an
Yep.
Instagram handle, and you all of a sudden you think that your voice is so important. And what happens is so many people are that way. Most people are that way.
Most people
And
are.
yeah, and they just talk so poorly about everything, and they will never make anything. They'll never
Right.
they I don't know. It's just so interesting to me. I guess I process it differently than most people. Like,
I completely agree with you. Like, that's what I think. And a lot of times people will post um, their review about a movie or whatever, and they'll just rip it to shreds. And I'm always like, well, maybe I'm not such a horror fan like they are because I don't do that. But I just really appreciate every single film for what it is, what went into it, everybody's love and sweat and blood. Like, that's what I like to focus on.
yeah, no, I agree. And Rob is one of those directors that is just polarizing. I would challenge, and I mean literally challenge people who say, well, he'll never make Devil's Rejects again. Every person that says that, go find me one good review of the Devil's Rejects like the week that it came out. Doesn't exist.
Right.
Like, even when it first came out, people were I found this interesting. The Siskel and Ebert thing was like they gave it two thumbs ups. But then
Mhm.
if you can actually read the review on their website. And I did this recently because I got in an argument with someone about it. But I think it was Siskel said that that Rob Zombie's film The Devil's Rejects is an example of how horror is dumbing down the audience, and as long as it's violent, it doesn't matter if there's a story or something like that.
Mhm.
And now it's like Devil's Rejects is up there with like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the original Halloween. Like, it's considered a cult classic.
Right.
And you talk to Rob about it, and he's like, we literally couldn't sell it. Like, no one would, like, we went from studio to studio, and people kept saying, no, this is garbage. This is garbage.
Wow.
And now, and he said, I think he even said in the documentary, he said, I could never make Devil's Rejects today. Like, no one would ever buy that. And you couldn't make 31. You had to, you have to crowdfund it because studios don't want that, because studios have focus groups. They know, what people want to see, or so they, at least what they think people want to see.
Oh
And
yeah.
and those people don't matter. I mean, not say they don't matter, but I feel like their opinion does not come from a place of sincerity. It's a lot of times just to destroy something. That's all they want to do.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you, Josh, is how come they have like their focus group that are more mainstream instead of actually going out there and finding those of us who would, I don't, what is it? Like they just don't have the time or they just don't care what like true avid horror fans really want to see?
I mean, I think I'm sure you can ask
I
five
mean, it's
people and
sure
get five different answers, but I
money
think a
and
lot
yeah.
of it, it's totally money. But then like a lot of it is like these studio executives have
Mhm.
kids or grandkids, and they think that they are their audience. Like I saw an interview with one executive about a huge franchise, and he said that the reason that they made the sequel was because his grandkid liked it or something like that. And the movie was terrible, and the cast was terrible, and I forget who was in it. There was like some like hot rapper at the time that was in the movie, and
Oh
he was like,
man.
I didn't know who he was, but my grandson said, oh, this is a big deal, so we put him in it. And that's all it is how quickly can we make this money back. And that's the thing, is movies like 31 weren't designed to do that. All these people that like, tear Rob's Halloween apart and say, you're not John Carpenter. It'll never be as good as the original. Find me a good review of Halloween
Yeah.
from when it first came out. Doesn't exist.
Yep.
Everyone hated it. They laughed at it. They said it would never. I mean, even the franchise was uncertain. They did the sequel, which was a success, long after Halloween did, found its audience and started doing well. And then they were so unsure that anybody would show up to a third one. They took Michael Myers out of the franchise and then realized, oh my God, we were totally wrong. We have no idea what the hell we're doing. It's like, no, you don't. That's the thing. You're good at money. That's it.
Like, that's what you know.
Exactly. And it's just, I don't know. But we're seeing that change. We're definitely seeing that change. When, at that time, that was it. There was one faucet, and we as horror fans could go to it, and whatever it spit out, that's what we had to deal with. Now with crowdfunding and with social media, if it sucks, everyone finds out, and no one goes and buys a ticket to find out for themselves. So these big, corporate machines known as studios are like, well, no one came this weekend. We just lost all of our money, because they have to make so much opening weekend, and then it just starts tapering off, because there's not really much money in DVD sales, definitely not in VD. And it's like you have these huge iconic pages of these horror fans just like me and you, who can just spread the word so quickly. And if it's garbage, or if it's not for us, the true fans, you're going to find out. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, you had to buy a ticket to find out for yourself. So that's going to change. You see, 31 was crowdfunded. A good part of it, they did have, investors and stuff, but that's going to start happening a lot. I mean, I'm crowdfunding my next film, which isn't a crazy thing, because I'm not, working with studios or anything. But when you see people like Rob and people like Zach Braff and, all these other people who could go to studios saying, nope, you just don't get it. This one's for the fans. They're going to help pay for it, and they're going to get to see it the way that they want it. Then you start seeing studios go out of business. You start seeing, Johnny Depp is now, according to Forbes, the most overpaid actor in Hollywood. So for every $1 million they spend on him in a film, they make less than they ever have on a return. And you look at the list of those actors, and it's just like, oh my God, the whole industry is just being flipped upside down. And industries do that. Industries are disrupted all the time, and that's when great change comes. This is just such a huge industry. It's taken a while to really shake up, and it's going to continue to evolve and transform, but it's headed there for sure.
That's so exciting. I mean, you're definitely right about all that, and it's very interesting to hear your opinion about it.
Well,
okay, so I wanted to talk about, you said you grew up in Ohio, yeah?
Yes.
Are you currently living there?
Yeah, it's where I'm based out of. I mean, I'm always on the road, but yes.
Okay, so where at in Ohio were you born?
Cincinnati.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So growing up,
Ohio?
you always... Sorry, go ahead.
Do you know Ohio?
I've been there once. I actually went there for the first time last year for a Halloween/haunt convention. It's called Midwest Haunters Convention.
Yeah. I used to own a haunted house a little south of there, so I know that well.
You did? That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so growing up, did you know that you always wanted to do something along with film and producing and creating?
I wouldn't say always, but for the better part of my late teens, yeah, I definitely did. I was always into horror for sure. Like when I was a kid, probably 10, 11 years old. My dad lived in a subdivision, and my brother and I would every Halloween set up the garage. We'd turn the garage into a haunted house, and once I got a little older, we would, leave a bowl of candy out and turn all the lights off on the house with a sign that said, "Take one, please." And we'd be 3 or 4 of us hiding with chainsaws, and when the wise guy would come out and take a couple, we'd chase him down the street. And I just always loved that. I loved scaring people. And I loved being scared at a certain point. I loved like the excitement, and everything about fall time. I've always loved it. So I
Yeah.
always had that and always wanted to do something with it. But growing up in the Midwest, you're always told by everyone from your school teachers to yourself at times, like, this is never going to happen.
Hmm.
Don't try, go to college and work a job you hate and start a family and die because that's what everybody does.
That's what you're
And
supposed to
so,
do. Yeah.
yeah. And so it's like I never knew what I was going to do. Um, and then my senior year of high school, I got kicked out of some class, and the only class that was available to get the credits I needed to graduate was film studies, and that kind of changed my world on that. I had a really amazing film teacher who saw my passion and extreme interest in it, and he really encouraged me to focus on it, and was kind of the first person that was like, you may not be making Hollywood movies, but you can definitely make a living telling stories with a camera. And there's so many different ways to do that on your own terms.
Hmm.
And so, that was, like I said, my senior year of high school. And I really started pursuing it a lot after that. Just making fun stuff with my friends, like little indie stuff and short
Yeah.
films and whatever. Um, but I love all films. I mean, horror's my favorite. Wish it was fall time
I
all of the time.
know. I did too. Like, you're probably the same way. I feel so inspired, so happy during fall. It makes my heart so happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I
I,
always say that I feel like the end of the year is actually November 1st, not January 1st or the beginning of the year.
yeah, it
Because, like,
really is.
to me, when Halloween, like, as soon as Halloween is over, like that night, it's like everything else just sucks. It's just like
Yeah.
miserable and depressing. And I just want
Well,
it to be fall time again.
I know it's such a beautiful time of the year, and I can't remember how I found your Instagram, but I think it was because I saw some postings that you did during fall, I think. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, oh, look at this guy. And then I checked out your account. I was like, oh, wow, like he's actually doing something. Like, this is pretty cool.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I've been posting about fall time like it's my job since way before I was doing
I
any of this
know,
stuff.
right?
I love
So,
it.
what did you do last Halloween?
Last Halloween, um, it's like this one we just had. This was the first year I passed out candy. I had just gotten back off the road like 2 days before that, and I think I forget. I was like shooting something out of town, and then we had the 31 premiere in LA, and then I had somewhere to be, and then so like I just came home and really wanted to do something, and there was nothing going on. Like, I don't have any friends where I live. Like, all my friends are, most of them are on the West Coast, so
Okay.
it's just me and my fiance here, and like we really wanted to do something, but there was nothing to do. So um, I thought it'd be really cool if I dressed up and then passed out candy and inspired these other kids, because I know what it was. I just recently read that like trick or treaters, like the statistics of kids trick or treating is just like astronomically lower than it was like
Yes.
3 years ago. And it
Yeah.
really bummed me out because to me, like, that's where you get the love, of
Mhm.
Halloween. Like on a great October night with all the leaves and the smell of bonfires and like
Yes.
getting your candy and everything, and like when it's really cool and you have to wear, like a hoodie but you're not freezing. Like, I love all of that, and I was so bummed that so many kids weren't doing it, and I saw that a lot owning a haunted house for 3 years.
Hmm.
um, it just, you have to really blow people's minds to get them off of their couches. And
Yeah.
so we did that. We set up, and I think there was like 4 kids that came past our house, and it was a total bummer.
Aw, four's
But
better
that's
than
what
none,
happened.
though.
Yeah, yeah. I was hoping that one in those 4 kids will remember that forever and think that crazy bearded skeleton guy just really made me fall in love with Halloween. And hopefully that person 20 years from now will help keep the
Yeah.
Halloween spirit alive in
Spirits
some
alive,
way.
definitely.
What did
So,
you do?
okay, so I throw a Halloween party every year, and so that's what I did.
Nice.
Yeah, it was my 7th year now,
Oh,
I think.
cool.
Yep, we had about maybe between like 30 to 40 people come, and I decorate the whole house, like every room, every inch is covered. It's insane. It takes me weeks to get ready for it. So that's
That's
what I
awesome.
did. Yeah.
Very cool.
So what kind of candy do you pass out?
All vegan candy.
That's right. I was
We
going to ask
got,
you about that too.
yeah. Yeah, there's like a website or something that we found that like tells you what doesn't have gelatin and ground up cow
Mhm.
skulls in it.
Yeah.
And we got that. It's really a lot of candy. I mean, suckers and airheads and warheads and all that type of stuff. If we can make it vegan and make it 90s candy, we're really happy. So we were able to
Yeah.
do that this year.
That's awesome. So how long have you been vegan?
Almost 2 years.
Okay, cool. I'm
Yeah.
vegetarian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've been a vegetarian since 2007. I was vegan for a few years when I first started, but now I'm
Yeah.
just a vegetarian. I mean, I would like to go back to being vegan because it's just you can still live a great life without all of the animal products.
Oh yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah.
I actually Rob is the one that pushed me into the pool, as he puts it, going from vegetarian to vegan. And it's great. I don't know, it's just a personal choice, but
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's so weird because sometimes I'll have people that are like, "You're vegetarian," and I don't really announce it to the world because I'm like,
Yeah.
"You do you, I do me," and then they're the ones that usually give me crap about it instead of
Oh
me
yeah.
saying, "Why are you killing the cow?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"It should be the other way."
Oh no, it's hilarious. It's I used to get really worked up about it. I actually just talked to Rob about this the other day because he'll go on his Facebook page and like, like make fun of people that try to make fun of him or whatever. And
Yeah,
it's really funny.
that's
And
awesome.
I asked him that. I was like, how do you deal with these people? Because I had like someone like just saying some really, really dumb stuff. And
Mhm.
like I'll post like a picture of me like grilling out, and then I'll just like hashtag vegan and it turns into this like, you coward, like this whole like
You're not
big
a
thing.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Rob's advice to me was don't worry about it, just lead by example. And so that's my new thing is
I like it.
trying to just do you. And it's I've come to realize if there's someone, like if I went at someone and was just like, pulled out like the Bible thumper thing, was like, do you have a minute to talk about what you're doing to, millions of cows a day, and greenhouse gases, and went on this whole, education spiel about what they're doing to themselves and the environment.
Hmm.
It would Then they would come back, and I get that, but
Right.
when you're just like, when you just mention that you're vegan because it's like, I'm at this restaurant and I really love that they had amazing vegan options or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they freak out. What I've come to realize is that person has much, much, much deeper issues than what they're eating. And I don't want to get involved with that person. Like
Mhm.
if
That's a
if
good
that's what
point.
sets you off, we have got to separate now, because I promise you, I will say and do things that
Yeah.
will be much more alarming than me eating plant-based food. I assure you of that. So let's
I
not go down this road.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
People are crazy.
they really are, aren't they? God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I know a few people who I've met through Instagram that are they do some little short films and they work on their projects. What would be your advice to them if sometimes they feel like, well, I guess I really couldn't make anything out of this. Maybe I should stop. And like how some people told you, like you need to go to college and get a job. What would you say for those people?
I would say don't stop there. It sounds so cliche. Um, there, another one of the best pieces of advice I've gotten from Rob, because I asked him the same question, and he tells me all the time there are no rules. You can't mess up. The only thing you can do wrong is stop trying. You
Hmm.
know, you just don't stop. Don't do stuff for other people If you're making something that you are making because you think everybody else is going to like it and you're just trying to impress people, then it's not going to happen because that's not
Right.
coming from a place of sincerity. And filmmaking and art needs to come from a place of honesty and truth, or what's the point? Otherwise, you should go to college and get a job working at one of these big studios we've been, putting down this whole
Yeah.
time. Um,
Hey guys.
yeah, but yeah, just keep doing it, and be ready to fail. Like, failing is the best thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for how many times I've messed up. Like, I've told this story a bunch of times in the last couple of weeks, and I've posted about it before, but the first like film project I did was a film contest that AMC was hosting and Rob Zombie was the judge. And this was in 2007. And this is when I really started getting into filmmaking. And I thought, like, okay, I know what I'm doing enough. I can probably make the best video in this contest. It's a 1 minute little short thing. And I just wanted Rob Zombie to know who I was, and I thought, to me at that time, it was like, if he likes it, then he may, who knows, man, he may hire me or other people will see it, and you start like daydreaming or whatever.
Yeah, of
And like,
course.
I didn't even come close to winning the contest. And it was so discouraging. And
Wow.
that happened so many times, like so many times where you put everything into it. And this is the absolute best you could have done with what you had. Fail separates those who are where I am now and
Hmm.
the me in a parallel universe where I'm working a job I hate is that didn't determine if I got back up or not. Every time I failed, it was like, instead of getting bummed or being mad at the world or hating Rob Zombie for not picking my video or hating myself, I just said, what did I do wrong? Like, watch the winner video. Okay, wow, that is a really good video. How did they do this? How did they do that? And educate myself more. If you can't learn from every single mistake, then you're not trying, because you need to search for the lessons sometimes in your failures, and just keep going. I mean, I feel like I've been doing this forever. Like, this recent success with this documentary and working with Rob, everybody's just like, I have all these new people who are like sending me all kinds of free stuff and, want me to like wear their stuff and
Yeah.
everything from t-shirts to beard creams and hats. And I'm not kidding. Like, you wouldn't
I
believe the
believe
emails I
it.
get of like, will you just take a picture of you wearing this? And if you like it, we'll send you whatever you want. And I'm like, who are you people? You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny to me, and
They're
I
like
appreciate it
sharks.
if they like it. It's I'm not gonna say get away, but it's like, I look at when I started this, like I said,
Mhm.
when I was in high school, and now I'm getting ready to be 30 years old, and it's like I feel like I'm just now achieving what I've been working on and failing at year
Yeah.
after year, day after day, and again, you can't get mad at the people who, because they didn't know who I was, and some of them don't really care. They just want to try to get to whoever I'm working with or get to,
Right.
somebody famous. But when I also meet a lot of people like, who are like sending me DVDs of 31 to sign and like handwritten notes, just like thanking me and like telling me thoroughly like what they loved about the documentary. Or they like, have read my story, like how I got hooked up with Rob and, what I went through, or they saw, on Rob's website that he posted about me and, or whatever. And like, they're just such big fans of Rob that, and they don't ever ask anything from me. It's just like,
Mhm.
that's inspiring,
Yeah.
like, so, and that comes just from literally just like not caring, like, be prepared to not have a social life. Like, I literally was that cliche person that did not have friends. I did not hang out with anybody. Like, I
Yeah.
have like people that come out of the woodwork now that I used to be friends with who are like trying to reconnect with me that I was friends
Oh
with.
gosh. Yeah.
And they, at the time, they would be like, you take this too seriously, Josh. Like, I don't know how many times I heard, not everything has a plan. If it's going to happen for you, it's going to happen. If it's not, it's not. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I always was like, nope, that's not how it works. Like, it's going to happen, or
Yeah.
I'm going to die and never know that it didn't happen because I'm still going to be trying. Um, and now all these people are just like, some of them just act like nothing ever happened. And then I have other people who come out and are just like, with their tail between their legs, like, sorry, man, like, you really did it. And just want to let you know, deep down, I did always believe in you. And, it's just so funny. And I look at what they're doing and it's like, and I'm not saying what I'm doing is better than anybody else, but I know that they're unhappy doing what they're doing.
Right.
And that's the thing, is like, if you're, driving a forklift somewhere, that's
Mhm.
cool. I'm not going to, say that that's whatever. But like, I
Right.
know people who were doing what I'm doing, said that it would never happen. They were on my team, and then they got this quote real job, driving a forklift or working wherever. And then now they act like, sorry, man. And it's like, well, dude, I've spent the last 8 years since you stopped talking to me because I
Yeah.
was a dreamer, and now you're unhappy. That's not my fault. You
Yeah.
know,
Don't
I,
put that on me.
because I'm finally reaping the benefits. And it's like, you go through relationships and friendships and working dead end jobs and
Yeah.
everything. And all of it is just in the background. It's all noise in the background. Your focus has to be, this one thing that you
Hmm.
want to do. And nobody can stop you. The other thing is, no one's going to give you the opportunity. Like Rob didn't find me and give me the
Hmm.
opportunity to do this. Rob didn't say, hey, you should shoot and edit this. Like, it was lots of, as people say, sometimes a door will appear, but you have to walk through it. you
Yeah.
know the opportunity's there, but you have to reach out and grab it. And in the case with this, it was like just editing it alone was like every day, for bothering Rob, risking, quite frankly, him saying, dude, can you just go home? Like, this is
Yeah. Give it
ridiculous.
a rest, Josh.
Yeah. But it was just like, yeah, and I plan on doing that multiple times, from here on out. Like, I
Yeah.
always want to be in a position where I'm taking advantage of opportunities and everything. And hopefully that never goes away. But that's my really, really long-winded answer to what people can do in that position.
I freaking love that answer so much. Like, honestly, as I'm sitting here, I'm like, I know what you're talking about. Like,
Good.
obviously, here I am with my little Halloween podcast that my friends are like, Sam, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you wasting your time on your channel? Why are you living in your room just doing Halloween stuff all the time? And I don't know, like, what would become of it, but I don't ever want to, like, get old and be like, oh, I should have put all of my love and energy into that. Why didn't I do that? So that means a lot. And I know that there's a lot of people that will be listening to this that will find great inspiration from that.
Well, good. And you should totally continue to do your podcast, and don't ever, my advice to that would, don't ever dream too small. Like, like the only example I can really speak to right
Mhm.
now in my life is, I always wanted to just work with Rob in some capacity.
Yeah.
Now I've done this and I've gotten so much more out of it. I remember when I was coming up with my treatment, I showed it to a friend of mine, and he just looked at me and he's like, you think that you're just going to send this to your friend and your friend's going to show it to Rob and he's just going to hire you? And like, was like really like looking like I had lost my
Yeah,
mind.
like what are you thinking, dude?
Yeah. And I'm just like, well, I don't know for sure, but if it doesn't, I'll keep doing this. He's going to make more movies, and I'll just keep doing this, and I'll keep doing my other thing while I'm doing that. And then it happened, and then it turned into this and this and this. And so, just build your brand. There's
Yeah.
so much you could do with your podcast too. Like, it's such, I was excited, just like, Halloween happy, anything with the name Halloween, I'm excited about.
You're
But
like, hey.
yeah, yeah,
I
no,
know.
it's
Well,
great.
thanks so much, because sometimes I was, when Lindsay emailed me, I was like, I could never do that. Like, I'm just not going to answer. But then I was like, freaking stop it. So I did. But what am I trying to say? I guess, like, as time goes by, I'm learning that it doesn't matter what other people think. And I just have to keep, like, my head down doing my stuff that I'm wanting to do. And it has evolved into, just, even if it's like this little thing, it evolved from a little something. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look at our country. Like, look at the people that are idolized and romanticized, and like,
Yeah.
it just, and they were all, like, not all of them, some of them were created by guys sitting in skyscrapers in New York who were just coming up with a brand. of a
Mm-hmm.
person, and they found a cute boy or a cute girl to play that role. And it's like I said earlier, like these people go to the faucet and turn it on, and here it is. Here's your next teen sensation. This is
Yep.
what you're going to love. And it's like people are tired of that. I mean,
Yeah.
like my friend Butch, who has Butcho Vision,
Yes.
who we're hopefully we talk about.
Yep.
But we're doing a film together, and the reason I wanted to work with him as opposed to all of these other people who send me their movie ideas on Facebook and want to work together, which is cool and I appreciate that, but this guy gets it, and he
Yeah.
took his brand and just you know just didn't care what anyone thought about it, started making like little pins and patches
Yep.
and stuff. And now it's like the dude is the people that I've met, the people that we've got attached to this project we're doing because they know his work and respect him is just unbelievable.
Oh, definitely. And
I mean, it's unreal.
yeah, and a lot of people that are listening, they actually do know Butch from Butcho Vision. And you guys are actually, the project that you're talking about is Candy Corn, right?
That's right.
And it's a story that, it's a story by Butch, and you are going to be directing that.
Yeah, I wrote the script and I'm directing the film as well. And Butch came up with the story, the characters, and all of that. Um, yeah, I'm really excited. It's hopefully will be something that Halloween fans and movie fans
Yeah.
will just really get a kick out. Our goal is like when Butch sent me the story, it was just like a flood of orange and brown leaves and
I love that.
Halloween and candy and bonfires and everything just like flowing through my head. I loved it. Um, and now, like I said, we're gonna be we've made a few announcements that I'm sure you've seen, like some of the character drawings and the concept art that Butch has done.
Yeah,
But
I saw
over the
that he just
next
recently posted the one of Julian,
yeah,
the
yeah, I'm
pumpkin killer.
so pumped about Julian. But we have so many big announcements coming over the next like 4 to 6 weeks that are
Oh, that's
just like
exciting.
right now we're like getting contracts done and doing all the boring paperwork stuff so we
Right.
can legally announce stuff. But it really just snowballed like in a good way. He pitched it to me in October. We both went out to LA for the 31 premiere, middle of October or end of October. Um, that's when we decided to do the movie. And he started showing me some drawings and stuff. And it was then that I agreed to write the script and direct it. And then now, we'll be making we're set to shoot in June,
Wow,
and
I
we'll
was
be
gonna
making,
ask.
yeah. So all of our big announcements will be coming up like over the next few weeks. And it's just going to be a flood of announcements that we've both been sitting on that we just can't wait.
Oh man,
But,
that's exciting. So when do you think that everything will be finished? I know that you haven't started filming, but do you guys have a timeline in mind?
so my goal is I'll be editing it too, like I do everything else that I
Yeah.
shoot. So that's one perk because we don't have to wait on someone else. But you know, it's hard to say. Like we're planning on shooting the entire month of June consecutively, and then I plan on going straight into editing like July, August, and September with editing, color correction, and sound design and everything. We're hoping to get into to be done in time to get into the festival circuit, which like those that time frame is like the fall, but you never really know until you get into it. And
Mm-hmm.
the editing process with something like that is like you can literally make a different film than what you wrote down once you're editing. Like it's like the process all over again.
Yeah.
um, so hopefully it'll be, this fall we'll have at least like, some trailers and really great stills and
Oh wow.
enough content out there. And then, if we go the festival route, um, then you have to wait, for it to be in festivals. You of course can't screen it anywhere, but we might not. We've been talking about doing our own tours of the film, going, to a bunch of different cities and
Oh my
screening it.
gosh.
There's just so many different things. There's companies out there that will do that now, that they'll basically, you pay them a fee and they do all the marketing, and they take your film from, wherever on tour, and you can go with them. And I have friends who have done this. and it's very successful. And you basically,
Wow.
again, are kind of skipping that part of the machine and getting it to an audience who actually cares and actually wants to see it. But who knows? I mean, it's January. Who knows what the industry's going to be like this fall? I mean, there
Right.
might be something that comes along that's like a no-brainer. There's a lot of amazing distributors out there. A few of them have already started reaching out. I have some relationships, obviously, with a couple distributors, and some indie films go that way, where it's just you make the film and then get it to the distributor who's going to get it to the biggest audience. And who knows? I'm
It's
excited to
so
see what
exciting.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how everything unfolds.
Mm.
For those of the people that are listening, is there anything you can tell them about candy corn?
Yeah, I mean
About the story? Yeah.
the synopsis is basically Julian, who you mentioned before, is kind of the freak of a small town, and he gets a job with this traveling carnival that is ran by a guy named Dr. Death, is his stage name. And there's some they come through a small town in Ohio, and there's some cool kids of the town that decide to beat up on Julian, as their Halloween prank, and they take it too far and they kill him. And Dr. Death turns out to be an actual witch doctor and brings Julian back for one night to seek revenge on those who have done him wrong.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's it's I mean it's an 80s film. It takes place in the 80s, so it's going to have that sort of vibe,
Even better.
um, aesthetically, but the story is very inspired by the classic Universal monsters. I mean, the whole theme of the
Oh,
movie
yes.
is like the freaks are the ones that are going to win, with the outcasts are the guys who are going to come out on top. And don't push the freaks, because it will come back to haunt you.
Yep. Which I'm
So
sure a lot of us, like loners in life, can relate to that.
yeah, yeah,
I like
definitely.
that. That's
I mean, that's
exciting.
that's how Butch is. That was his story, that's what he brought. And I didn't really change that at all. I mean, when I
Mhm.
wrote the script, he brought me a one-page story, and now it's a 97-page script or whatever, but it's all based around that. And the exciting part was writing, like what happens in between, how Julian does that, and really getting into Dr. Death's character when he's by himself, and the atmosphere of the carnival. I mean, aesthetically, it's just going to be unbelievable. I have a amazing set designer, he actually worked on 31, and all of my favorite set pieces from 31 this guy did pretty much
Nice.
by himself. And I straight up told him when we were shooting, I was like, dude, everything on this movie that I love, like the set pieces, you've made all of them. And we just kept in touch. And he runs a big haunted house, or he directs a big haunted house in California. And I went out this fall and checked it out, and told him about this and let him see some of the script, and he signed on. So wherever we shoot it, he's going to be coming out, and just making sure that it's as visually beautiful as we can make it. And
I have no doubt that it will be.
what's that?
I said I have no doubt that
Oh,
it will be. Yeah, that's
yeah,
exciting.
good. Well, thank you. I'm very pumped. And the whole crew, I mean, we have, like I said, it's pretty much all, it's probably like 70% casted right now,
Okay,
but
cool.
and we'll be announcing everyone soon. But as far as the crew, like an amazing cinematographer that's on board, that I watched some of his work, and then I now have done several like little shorts and commercials with him through Relavox. But um his passion is film, and I had seen one of the movies that he worked on, and I was just like in love. I mean, it was so beautiful, and that I wanted him to do Candy Corn, and he like told me that the whole crew that did that film that I loved
Hmm.
was his crew that he could bring on board to do Candy Corn. And so it's like,
Oh,
it's just insane how like I've never done anything like this with this type of budget, with this type of crew, with like
Mhm.
real SAG actors, like
Man,
it's so exciting to be working on this level. And I
that's
am so
awesome.
pumped for people to see it. You're going to love it.
I cannot wait. I know I'm gonna love it. I mean, I feel like there's already tons of people that are excited for this project. Coming from you and Butch, I've seen people with their candy corn tattoos. Like,
Oh my God.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be insane.
Yeah. I can't believe that. I think I may have posted that. Maybe you saw it when me and Butch went out to lunch, and I came up with that idea for the logo is just like,
Yeah.
make a sticker or put it on a poster or something. And he like a week later posted it and said something about like who's going to get this tattooed or something like that. Yeah, and it's like I can't even keep up. Like I get, it's like every week I get new messages of people showing me their candy corn tattoos, and I'm just like, my God.
Mhm.
Like now people are messaging me that they're saving up for a Dr. Death tattoo or a Julian tattoo, and it's just unbelievable. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That's who makes it, and those
Yeah.
people, and I hope I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that they don't regret those tattoos and make a project that they're proud of. But it's like they believe in it, and sure, they may be a little crazy, but that's why I like them, because
Yep.
I am too. And you don't need a studio and a big marketing budget to tell people that they like it. These people read it. They saw, some of my work and liked it. They know Butch's work and like it. So they're on board and they show their support. And it's not just a couple people. It is so many people that are
So many. It's
doing it. Wait to see where this industry is. I mean, we're
yep.
really in a revolution when it comes to that. I mean, it's sounds dramatic, but I mean, we really are.
Hmm. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. And then I was just going to promote your social. Is there anything you can think of that you would want to cover?
I mean, these have all been great questions. I've
Did I
really,
do okay? I was so nervous.
absolutely. No, these are great. Like I said, like nobody asked me about 31. I've been waiting. I don't want to like tell someone what to ask me,
I know.
but
Josh, I was nervous to ask you because I thought you'd be like, well, obviously I'm gonna say. And
no,
so I was like,
no,
I'm just gonna do
I'm
it.
sure there's people that worked on it that don't like it, and that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, as a horror fan, I just, excuse me, I really loved it. I mean, it was aggressive and brutal, and I'm glad you asked me about it. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I loved them. I mean, don't be afraid to ask me anything. Anything you want to ask, go for it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll have a good answer or not, but
I did want to ask you, who's your favorite slasher?
um, I'd have to say Leatherface.
Really?
Yeah,
How come?
I mean, he's just so brutal, and to me, it's like I don't know. I love that movie. I absolutely love it. And he's just it's gonna sound really weird, but like as a filmmaker, I love the way he's put together. I love the colors of his wardrobe, the earth tones,
Hmm.
his posture. He was a big, nasty dude. I love the idea that he wore, the skin of the people that he killed. It was just like obviously I love, Michael Myers and Jason and Freddy. I mean that's what I grew up on. But to me, it was like Leatherface was came out at a time before all of that was really super super mainstream,
Yeah.
and he was just mean and aggressive, and I don't know, I really like that.
Who's your least favorite?
Out of like the mainstream ones,
Yeah,
Freddy.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, he was too goofy.
Yes. Like he was kind of scary when I was a kid on the first movie, but then they just made him too goofy and sarcastic.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I can enjoy watching them and I appreciate them and they're fun and campy, but yeah, I mean, once it started getting into like I feel like in my opinion, since you asked, I'm not just going to go post this on Facebook for everyone to see, but since you asked me
Okay.
specifically, yeah, I mean, it was like during the 80s, whenever they started getting into like crazy special effects and digital stuff, it was like, he would like stretch his arms out real far, like wrap his tongue around
Mhm.
stuff. And I know there's an audience for that, and that's great. But for me, I love like everything I do. It comes from that place of like this is real and this is authentic. Like the haunted house that I ran and directed was like everything was real. There was no like we didn't have. I think we had maybe two animatronics, and they were in rooms with other actors. And the whole point was like fill it with as many real people as we can. The storyline is real. We even had an actual haunted house on the premises that people would do ghost tours through. And we had like I hired a paranormal investigating team
Oh, wow.
every single weekend. They were there through the fall time, and they would guide you through groups of four through the house room by room. And like I love that. I love, this is real, this could really happen. And when you start looking at like people like Freddie, it's just like I don't know, it just gets goofy. And that's like I said, that's cool if that's what you're into. But
Yeah.
to me, Leatherface, I mean, Michael Myers is awesome. um
Yeah.
Obviously, that was probably the first one that really scared me. I went through a pretty big Jason phase where I thought that that was really cool. I just like they owned the camp
Hmm.
atmosphere and everything. But yeah, that's my answer.
Awesome. Okay, so if there was one, it could be horror or non-horror. If there was one film that you had to watch over and over for the rest of your days, what would it be?
Hmm. Well, I kind of do that with Rosemary's Baby.
Really?
Yeah, I watch that religiously. I'm addicted to it.
How come?
Um, I think it's perfect. I think it's one of the few films that I can watch that I'm not thinking about movie making.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me when I'm watching films. I'll just start looking at from technical aspects. Um, and I don't know, it sucks me in. The theme song is beautiful and haunting. I love it. I love that it was, takes place in the Dakota. I'm a huge, 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 huge Beatles and specifically John Lennon fan.
Okay.
Um, I'm very fascinated with Charlie Manson and all of this. Not that I'm condoning it, and not that
Right.
I'm saying it's going to start. No matter if you mention Charlie Manson's name, you start a war no matter what,
I know.
because people either love him or hate him. But very fascinated with him and the whole history of him. And the Dakota, which is where Rosemary's Baby allegedly takes place
Hmm.
in that apartment at the Bramford, is where John Lennon was obviously assassinated. And Roman Polanski, who directed Rosemary's Baby, was married to Sharon Tate, who was murdered by Charlie Manson. And there's like all these crazy.
Are you there? Hello? I can't hear you if you're there.
But it's great. Mia Farrow's amazing. Um, her demise from beginning to end is just totally believable. It was one of the original stories, and I guess we can call it modern cinema, where like you know she was the woman who was actually going crazy because of something that really happened to her, and then you just have all these douchebag dudes in business suits, pushing pills and telling her she's wrong, and it's like, it just I don't know. I just love everything about it. I just love it. And it's Satan comes up from hell and impregnates a beautiful woman to have her baby on
Yeah.
earth. Like when it comes to horror, that's about as good as it gets in my opinion.
Yep.
It's simple and it's just a masterpiece. I thought it was shot absolutely beautifully. I don't think Roman Polanski ever did anything as good as that. And to me, that makes it even that much better because he is a very highly regarded filmmaker. But I feel like it's one of those films that like it's just untouchable. It came out in the 60s and they tried to remake it into a TV series and everything else. You cannot touch that film.
Right.
Impossible. So
Good.
yeah, I'm a little passionate about Rosemary's Baby.
You're like, yeah, I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I've seen it once or twice. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. That's probably the one. If it wasn't horror, I don't know. Probably like Into the Wild. I really love that film.
Stop. I love that one.
Yeah. That's
I
another one
love
that,
Emil Hirsch so much.
yeah,
He's so talented.
film's amazing. To me, it's perfect. Eddie Vedder, Sean Penn, Emil Hirsch.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really ask for too much more. Another one that everyone hated. I think it still hasn't made its money back, and it's to
Yeah.
me a masterpiece. Um, 21 Grams is another one that is a masterpiece that I love that I could watch forever.
What's that one?
Um,
21 grams?
yeah, it's by
Look it up.
Alejandro Iñárritu, um, who did Babel, and he wrote, most recently did The Revenant,
Okay.
Birdman, and yeah, he's amazing. That film is that's one I like movies that leave you in a really weird mood for the next 2 weeks.
I
So
do too.
that's my thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Josh, you are so awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, man.
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay,
Yeah, you cut out
sorry.
that whole time. I heard you say Josh, and that was it.
Oh, well, I was just saying thanks so much for joining me and thanks for giving your time.
Of course, yeah. My pleasure. It's a good
Okay,
time.
so your next project is Candy Corn, which everyone will need to check that out and follow the updates as you guys start releasing everything. Where can they stay in touch with that? On your Instagram, which is Josh_Hasty.
Yep.
And
And
then
then
also,
yeah, that's where I post daily.
okay.
They can check out my stuff at joshhasty.com. And then if you want to get all the information first for Candy Corn, you can cornmovie.com and sign up like on the main page.
Oh,
And
awesome.
you'll be on the mailing list and you'll get everything the second that it's posted to social media right to your inbox.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so will you come back when Candy Corn is finishing up and we can talk about that?
I'd love to.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Guys, don't forget to check out Josh on Instagram. Again, that is Josh_Hasty. Also, visit his website to learn more about him at joshhasty.com. And thanks so much for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you later. Do you want to say bye?
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Sorry, can you do it again? My annoying, I laughed. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, no
Here,
problem.
let me do it. I'll say bye, and then you can say bye at the end, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
You're so polite. Okay.
Thanks.
You're like, thanks.
Do you
Thanks.
need me? Do you want me to say? I realized earlier whenever you asked me to say that about listening to Halloween Happy that I like rambled on the "In Hell Everybody Loves Popcorn" title. Do you want? Do you want
Yeah,
me to sit
if
and
you
write
want
it?
to, you can. That way I can choose between. Yeah, that would be great.
That title's so long. That was like
You know
Rob's
what? And
idea.
when I was kind of like going over through everything before I was talking to you, I was like, man, it's such a tongue twister.
It's so long. It's so long. It's the only thing that I'm not gonna say I don't like it because every people are getting it tattooed on them now. But yeah, it's a
You're
mouthful
like, I
for
hate
something
it,
like
guys.
that. Yeah. Do you
Okay.
just want me to introduce myself and say you're listening to Halloween Happy?
Yeah, that would be great.
Cool. Just tell me when.
Okay, I'm ready.
Hey, this is Josh Hasty, and you're listening to Halloween Happy.
And then do you want to say the rest or no?
The rest of what? What do you want me to say? Sorry.
No, you're fine. Did you want to leave out the in hell or no?
Yeah, because I did that one earlier, and if you want that one,
Okay,
you can
yeah,
use
that
that. I
works.
just figured since it's so long, it might be like
Okay.
confusing.
No, that'll work just great. Awesome.
No
Okay, so
problem.
this episode will be up next Tuesday.
Okay, cool.
Is there anything that you guys want me to send you or?
Yeah, just whatever link. Like I'll if you just send like the link where people can hear
Yeah.
it to Lindsay, and then like if you have like any sort of logo or anything like that, she'll ask for whatever you need
Okay,
if you don't have
awesome.
it already. But yeah, just the link is the main thing, so we can post it.
Okay, I'll just keep in touch with her then.
Cool.
All right, awesome. Josh, thanks again for your time, man.
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Are you there? Hello? Are you there? Hello? Are you there? Are you there? Hello? Hello? Are you there?
Hey, yeah, I don't know what
I
happened
don't
there.
know what happened. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Good thing that didn't happen earlier.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say thanks again. I appreciate your time so much.
Yeah, for sure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, well, I'll keep in touch with Lindsay, and if I need anything, I'll let you guys know.
All right, perfect.
Okay, well, good luck with everything and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye.